Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the This Is the Music Meets Podcast, an independent podcast show that's dedicated to introducing you to rising indie and alternative artists from across the UK and Ireland. If you're new to the podcast, then please hit that subscribe button so you never miss out on any brand new episodes, and feel free to leave a comment as it will really help us beat those algorithms. It's now time for episode 133, and I'm absolutely buzzing to be chatting to today's guests. The band in question have released 3 singles to date, totaling over 55,000 Spotify streams. They've already received national radio play from the likes of Radio X and XS Manchester, and they were 100% one of my favourite new discoveries in 2024. It's the quite brilliant Tuesday Night Whites. Lads, thanks very much for coming on the podcast. How are you all doing?
Nice one, yeah.
What an intro that was. What an intro.
College,
yes.
Well, it's good to have you here. And yeah, obviously you're up in Preston, just like you're in a rehearsal sort of studio type thing, right?
Yeah, well, we were saying before, maybe it's a converted garage into a converted games room, wire room, whatever you want it to be, really.
Storage room.
It's quite, yeah, it was a job.
Brilliant, great stuff. And look, obviously, as I said there, obviously it's a massive thrill for me to have you on. Massive fan since and obviously from We Believe Music introduced me to you boys at the sort of about the end of September, I think beginning of October time. But obviously before we come on to sort of all that sort of stuff in terms of what Tuesday Night Whites have been doing and, you know, what you've got planned for maybe for 2025, just kind of like really how then did the band start?
I'll take it.
You take it.
Yeah, well, yeah, it was one of those really. Like we've pretty much all known each other for a very long time. Maybe it's like individuals. I knew you ages ago, didn't I? And then
reffing when we were like 15.
Yeah, 14, 15. And then me and Pom have grown up together from primary school age. So we've always known we're into music. We've always loved music. We've always been gigging and stuff like that. And then it was like just after lockdown, really. He just sent me a message and he was like, "Fancy picking up a microphone because I'm pretty bored." I was like, "Do you know what?" There's literally nothing else to do. So I was like, "Do you know what? Yeah, let's give it a crack." And I think from like literally the first time we practiced together, we just loved it. We absolutely loved it. We were just cracking out covers. We've got like literally the same music taste, all of us. So to just pick up like Oasis tunes and Catfish tunes and all that kind of stuff, and just play it and sing it, it's just like, yeah, this feels really good. And then we started off with just us two on the acoustic guitar. Went down to a few like little micro pubs and stuff, and just we just loved it. We fell in love with it straight away. And then it just grew and and then we picked up 3 other lads. And then it went from there really.
Yeah,
That's didn't it? I mean, Pommy asked me 2 or 3 times. First 2 times I was in disbelief. I think I might have slightly oversold how good I was at guitar. Might have lied slightly. And then he asked me to join a band playing bass, and obviously from there, Nath came in. You brought in Millie, didn't you, Pom?
Mm-hmm.
Our drummer Boatsy went to school with these, but despite him being the tallest one in the band, he's also the youngest, so he gets a bit of stick for that.
And just on that, then obviously, so you're saying there you were playing covers. So, at what point then did you decide? Do you know what? We actually don't want to do covers anymore. We want to go and write our own material. Was that decided quite early on, or was that like when it was just a duo or a trio or whatever, or was it when actually, fact, you know what, we're now a 5-piece. This is now the way that we want to go.
Yeah, no, it was actually the reason why we became sort of 5-piece, and then when Millie was here, 6-piece as well, but a 5-piece, because when we was doing the sort of like the acoustic gigs, like gigging down at Crafty, just me and all, that's when we actually started songwriting. So we'd never wrote a song before, never had Logic, never had any of this. So whilst we was doing that, we had the buzz, and obviously your mates were coming down, and then after one gig, they're asking when the next one was, and so we just, like I said before, we fell in love with it, and we was like, right, what's the next step? So then obviously, we was like, right, let's sort of like pick up more members, do sort of like more of a band, and then alongside that at the same time, it was like, right, let's sack it, let's give it a whirl, let's have a crack at writing some songs and stuff. So the first song we ever wrote was like a sort of like a chilled out acoustic one, but then when we knew that we sort of wanted to go in the direction of a 5-piece band, a full band, we started writing sort of like bigger songs, sort of like more in the sound that we've got now. The first song, full band song that we wrote, Near Manchester, not been released yet, but it was instantly probably one of people's favourites, isn't it?
Yeah,
for Near Manchester. So dead excited for when that comes out in the future, because we get people messaging all the time. When's Near Manchester coming out?
Every time. It's always, that's really good, but we want Near Manchester. I'm like, trust me, it's coming. It's fine.
So I'll probably say it. Us songwriting sort of like pushed us in the direction of becoming a 5-piece rather than just like staying around doing like the local pubs and stuff as a 2-piece like acoustic duo.
Yeah, sure, okay. And the band name, I'm guessing, because obviously all up there in Preston, and I know that you are Peston North End fans, so I'm guessing that there's a connection somewhere along the lines with that. Am I right in saying?
Yeah. So as Ollie said before, like we all knew each other sort of growing up. So Ollie, myself and Ollie, we've known each other probably like since we were like 2, 3, something like that. Our families know each other. And then we went to high school with the drummer Boatsy, and then I met CD through North End, through going to watch North End. Then CD met Nath at Leeds Festival. Nath's lead guitarist. So that's how we sort of like fell into like a 5-piece, like mates and mates of mates. But the sort of how we sort of like got together, we always had like a common interest of North End. Ollie supports North End, CD does, I do, Boats does. So it's like it was something that we all shared a common interest in, and without like obviously like when you first get together, you like generate like loads of random names, don't you? And some like ridiculous. Something like that. It's like
a list of originals.
So I don't know.
There's got to be somewhere. I have to dig it out.
So, so in essence, like it's more of sort of like a meaning of a common interest between that we all share. Between all 5 of us, and it's something that we can all relate to. Like it's good because it's got like a sort of like a nickname version like T&W, and it's Tuesday Night Lights, and then like we started playing a couple of acoustic gigs, like mates that are coming down to see us. They're doing like chants and things. We've even got a couple of people who've got tattoos now, so it's like
wow. Wow, that's insane.
That was the first one.
Yeah, so.
Wow!
I went and got a tattoo from an apprentice in Liverpool. Beth, her name is, and she was really good. And do you want me to tell the story?
Go for it. Yeah.
The story.
If you're not so I don't know if you've got any tattoos, but anyone who's got tattoos with writing in them, obviously they have a template that they basically like stick onto you and it leaves ink behind.
Right.
But once it goes onto your skin, it's in reverse. Right. You know
where it's going.
Right. But obviously, when you look in a mirror or when you take a picture with the front camera on your phone, it flips it unless you turn it off. So I've gone and got this tattoo in Liverpool. I've not told these, sent them a picture, and they all knew. Like I hadn't twigged. They were like,
we were all in on it.
Right.
So I've gone and I've gone, boys. I've emailed her back. Like she's done it backwards, and I've sent them the screenshots of the tattoo being backwards. Taking a picture in the mirror, like, look, it's backwards.
I don't even think we can tell you the words that he was using. It was like, oh my God, look what she's done. Look what she's done. It's backwards.
Honestly, I was fuming like more at myself, but I hadn't realised it. Anyway, it was like a week or something, and I've come in and
CD's been coming to rehearsals, like when we've been get together to like run through tunes and stuff. And we all know that it's not backwards, but he's still under the impression that it is backwards. So I think it went on for about a week, and then we're like, we'll have to probably give it.
as well. He was like looking around, like it's still backwards.
It's on the back of my arm there, right? So if you look, it says Tuesday Night Lights chat, obviously press chat.
But I didn't. You can't turn your phone around and get a good like. So anyway, that's gonna live on.
Oh, brilliant!
It's a great story.
That was the first one. He's Ben Bolton, isn't he?
Yeah, it's one of my brother's mates. Yeah, he's just a lad that comes and sees us, and it's like he's got T&W on tattooed on him now. So it's I think the name's stuck now. It's there forever.
I'm gonna have to change my
yeah, don't go changing the band's name or anything like that.
No,
that'd be
We
awkward.
could reverse it, but I don't think it.
Well, no, that was another thing. I was saying to him, I'll get a line and make it like a mirror and get it back. Yeah, I felt like a bit of a muppet.
Yeah, I can imagine. Would have loved to have seen your face when you actually did get told or you worked it yourself.
It's a good laugh. Well, obviously. But.
No, definitely. Yeah, and do you think, obviously, with the football, obviously about 7 points, I think, off the playoffs at the minute? Do you think you can make it? You're going to sneak in? No,
that's it.
Let's not go there.
Jinx it. Yeah. Plymouth have just signed 2 defenders, and all of a sudden they're beating Millwall 5-1. So we're not even going to talk about it.
No, as soon as you start getting carried away with it, that's when you get annoyed and you go on and you're like. You get let down. So if you go on not expecting anything, you can't be disappointed, can you? So I
definitely feel what you're saying there, 100%. I'm a West Ham fan, so we have about one good season in about 8 or 9, I think, and then we all get the ump with how it's going. So So, who then were your biggest influences then? When you started making music, and you still obviously you mentioned there the Oasis and the Catfish and the Bottlemen covers and that. But are you still listening to them now? Are they still influencing you, or as you've gone along, you've sort of dived off into other bands or maybe even other sort of genres of music maybe?
Yeah, well, we were actually I had this conversation the other day. I think you always stick to what with your classics, your Oasis and Catfish, stuff like that. There's a lot of bigger bands that we're all massively into, like the Snuts and things like that. So I think we take a lot of influence from that, especially the guitar and stuff, don't you? So it's good for that. But then I think because we still go to gigs, that is what we do. It's football and gigs. That is life for us. So it's weird now being in a band because you watch gigs in a very different way to before. Sometimes good, sometimes bad. You're quite analytical now, and you're looking at what they're doing and how they're doing it. And I think especially for your live performance, I mean, for me as a frontman, it's what do I love about what he's doing? What do I love about how that set's built and come together? So you definitely you're constantly being influenced by just going to watch stuff and of all levels as well. That's not just the big South End, things like that. We go down to the Ferret and we'll stick on a live show or whatever when we're at home. So you're just constantly surrounded by it. And I think what you said before, we just live and breathe it, and you just absolutely. If you love something, it's not a chore at all. We absolutely love it.
No. Yeah, definitely. I agree. With you. Yeah, football and music all the way. It's the only way to be, right?
That's all you need.
And obviously, I said in the intro there, obviously you've had a brilliant sort of start so far to your releases. Obviously, 3 singles so far, and obviously you've just gone past the 55,000 mark on Spotify in terms of all your streaming numbers and that. So kind of 2 questions here, really. Sort of first of all, what's your reaction to knowing that you've gone in such a short space of time like that far? But also as well, are you kind of thinking, do you know what, we are actually making some good progress here, and it's giving you the sort of I'm not saying you're not confident, but a little bit more maybe inner belief and confidence that, do you know what, we are definitely onto something here.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, honestly, I will never ever forget 1 minute past midnight when the Renegade came out and we were all sat on FaceTime and we were literally all screaming and running around the house. That feeling is just it was just, you'll never ever forget it. But the weird thing is, it's when we first started playing, we've talked about that obviously, but your goal is just get one song out, just get in the studio, get one song on Spotify. I can tell I'm on Spotify, we've done it as a band, we've smashed it. And all of a sudden you get one out, it's probably do 2 or 3 now. And you get to 2 or 3, you're okay, we really need a few more out now. So it's just in answer to your question, it's you feel it feels amazing, it's incredible, and the progress and that, and sometimes maybe you have got to stop and say we've done really well here, but you're just constantly looking ahead to the next thing. So whether it be the next live gig or the next song out to write, to get in the studio, it's always the next thing. So yeah, maybe at some point it'd be nice to stop and just say, you know what, I'm proud of us all, which I am obviously proud of us all. I've got a long way to go yet, which is very exciting.
I think one of the things for me about releasing songs and getting it out there is hearing people's reaction. Obviously, you get all your mates and things texting you and your family and stuff, but B, when you're actually performing live, like you're hearing people because they're listening to the tracks and everything, like they're singing the words, they know the words, and like for us, it's like we wrote them words in like spare bedroom, and now all of a sudden there's like 100, 200, 300 people singing it. Like it's mental. So I think for the, like when we used to gig, when we first started out gigging, like Renegade was always our opening song, like always. And then when we released it, obviously, like people like started singing it and joining in. So then it went nearer like to the end of the set. And then just seeing people, obviously, like we played like 7 or 8 songs, and then we played Renegade, and then boom, like everything just sparks life. Like it's just unbelievable. So as soon as you get that sort of feeling and that buzz, you're like, right, I want more. So yeah, no, it's class. So no, massive thank you to everyone that streamed it. Obviously yourself for streaming it as well, especially 23 and Lost Control. So yeah, no, absolutely buzzing with how it's going so far.
Yeah, no, I can totally understand that. I mean, all 3 songs are absolutely top draw. But have you got a favourite out of the 3 that you've put out, or is that like an almost impossible question to answer?
We'll go round.
I'm hoping we're going to get all 3 named. That would be perfect. But,
Right, so I'm a metalhead as well.
Right.
Like, I am a massive fan of massive guitar, drum solos, screaming lyrics, whatever. Obviously, none of our songs fit into that, but the closest to that, like the rockiest, the most heavy sound, is Lost Control.
Yeah.
And when you listen to Nath play that solo, when he moves into the tap-in section of it, I always look across, and then afterwards I'm like, you've melted my face again. So as much as I absolutely love 23, and it makes me beam every time I listen to it, it's got to be Lost Control on it, for me.
Whoa. Oh my God, it's like choosing children, isn't it? I don't have any children, but if I did have children, I would.
Yeah, surprise! There's one just going.
I'm thinking only right. No, I honestly probably couldn't choose. If I had to pick one that sort of brings a big smile to my face the most, it would probably be 23, just because of what it's about and how it felt writing it and stuff like that. It's so. If you'd have told me 10 years ago I'd have written a song about the bus we used to get to college and to town, and I'd have laughed in your face. So I think that's probably why it just slightly edges it. But no, I love all 3 of them. Absolutely, yeah. I'm proud of them all, the tunes. So
no,
yeah.
I'm not doing this on purpose, but I would probably have to choose one of them. No, I didn't. We didn't plan that either. We didn't plan that. But no, I'd probably say Renegade only because of what I was saying before. It was probably the first song that obviously after release, hearing people sing it back to you, and just that feeling that we got was just absolutely immense, and I won't forget. So for me, like Renegade was obviously first release, so you had the buzz when we released it at midnight. We're all on FaceTime together. Obviously it's the first time everyone's like talking to you about, oh my God, like your tune's class and things like that. So and then also the first time people like singing the lyrics back to you. So it's it's a special song for me, definitely.
Yeah, sure, definitely. As I said, 3 brilliant singles that you put out so far. Obviously, we just mentioned there that 23 was obviously the most recent single. Obviously, I know what it's about, but maybe for the This Is The Music listeners who haven't heard it yet, or maybe people in wider sort of earthlings out there, maybe they haven't heard it either yet. Can you just tell us a little bit about the song and kind of like the feeling as well that you've got as a band, like that song has obviously blown up in some some style.
Yeah, it's I love this question, but I always find it really hard to answer about sounding probably stupid. Like, so the 23 is a bus that I just goes down from there, doesn't it? Yeah, the 23 is a bus that we I think 3 out of the 5 of us used to get pretty much daily, whether it be to college or just into town or whatever, even up to like, obviously that's 19, isn't it? But anyway, let's not get into bus routes.
It's not just a music podcast; it is also educational as well. There you go.
There you go. If you ever come to Peston, you know exactly what bus to get where. No, yeah. So it was one of those things, but then it's not. It's obviously not about the bus. The idea of the song was kind of about. I remember writing it, like the first batch of lyrics that to put to like the instrumental stuff that Pommy had done, and it was like I kind of like, what is it going to be about? And I had this like catchy sort of chorus, like the, you know, that bit repetitive in my head. So I really wanted to get that bit in. And then the first batch of lyrics came from just thinking, I watched a video back that one of the lads had edited from a gig, and it was just like everyone just buzzing and just smiling, and it just gives you that feeling of like, you know, we put that night on, and it was one of our gigs, and you know, it went really well. So it was just about that really, and it just like sort of going back to growing up, and just like I said, just jumping on the bus, going into town, seeing your mates, and it just that really good feeling that you used to get. So and it just kind of made me laugh that the 23 somehow lyrically fit into it, and it went well. But yeah, it's a catchy one. And I remember the first time we played it live, and people like trying to sing it back to you without really knowing it, because it was just like stuck in their head. So I think at that point you're like, yeah, this is going to be a really good song.
Yeah, no, definitely, sure. And kind of like then, what is, you just mentioning sort of a little bit there about putting lyrics to the sort of the instrumental that you've heard. So what is then the songwriting process like? Is it structured genius, or is it just pure chaos?
Yeah, organised chaos. I'll put it that way. Definitely. So we do like the first. We've never like been taught or anything about how to put a song together. So when we first started out, it was me on the acoustic guitar, Ollie just humming vocal melodies, and then we sort of like I sort of like invested in sort of like laptop, Logic, things like that, and then literally like So again, sounds daft. Sounds like we go on nights out all the time. But like, at one point, maybe. Not,
G&T now.
So it's like I used to go out, go to the pub, and then when I used to get home, I just used to pick my guitar up and then just like noodle probably like for an hour. Most people, other people, just have a takeaway and go to bed, but no, I pick a guitar up. And then, so I just like noodle, and then if I find something good, I'll just record it, and then I'll come back to it the next day. So then I sort of like fell in love with just like sort of structuring other songs, and then it was like went to a case of I listened to songs that I'd like say for by the Snuts or by Corella or someone like that, and I'd really pick out and focus on why I like that particular song. Yeah. It was about that song that I sort of related to, that I wanted to basically nick and steal. Mm-hmm. So then I started incorporating that side of the things. And then again, it was like voice memos, messages, everything. Like if you go through our chats like on WhatsApp and it's just full of files like that we sent to each other. So
you got a storage for about 2 years.
Yeah, no, I'm on the £8.99 iCloud storage now. It's got one.
You've cleared your storage about 6 times, and you still can't open. Pommel will text us and be like, "You need to send it on Snapchat because WhatsApp won't load it." Like, I just can't open the phone.
Literally,
so good.
So yeah, so we sort of went around it like that way for a bit, and then now, especially like with 23 and like a couple of the songs that we've wrote now, it's been more like a collaborative process. So we sort of like bring an idea to rehearsal, play it out loud, people chip in what they like, what they don't like, kind of thing. So for example, like 23 started out as the chord progression. But even just like the little details, like the announcement just before the final chorus, like that came after we got like literally the final mix, and then was listening to it. It was like just needs just something just before it goes back into the chorus, and then it was sort of we sort of had the idea, didn't we? And then Tom put his like Tom, who does all the mixing and mastering. He did his magic and sort of like did that little voiceover thing. But coming back to the meaning of the song, it's quite nice as well, because it says the bus 23 is departing from stand 19. And now for people from Preston that know, 23 goes one way on that route and the 19 goes the other way. So they cross paths. So we thought, it's quite nice doing it from stand 19. So, but yeah, it's become more and more of a collaborative process, and it's one that it's also a work in progress and a learning curve, and we're just taking it how it comes. If something sounds good, we'll stick with it, we'll work with it. But I always, again, relate back to like I'm bad for watching like interviews like with like Catfish or Van from Catfish and like other bands and the songwriting process and what they do. And a lot of what Van does is that he'll say that he'll write 5 songs and he'll pick the best one, carry it forward and put the other 4 on the back burner, and it'll come back to it at a later date. So I've sort of like, with the clips that we're sending over, to save storage, but also like just to focus our attention on just one instead of like across 5. We sort of started implementing that a lot more as well. But yeah, it's much more of a collaborative process now, and so hopefully we'll have some news soon about new tune as well.
Brilliant, great. Well, brilliant, great stuff. And obviously, love to hear them. Once they're all ready, be exciting and looking forward to that, and loving to hear how the whole process works as well. But what would you say for you as a band so far? What have you found like the biggest challenge as like as an independent artist?
Trying to stop me from talking most of the
time. CD
this is the least that I've spoken my entire life. It's like I'm on a leash almost. I'm not going to talk about it.
Go on, what's your most challenging thing then?
Not speaking. I don't know. No, well, from an ongoing standpoint, so that was the chair, not me. Everyone else in the band is pretty well established in their instruments. Ollie's an incredible vocalist. Nathan just plays everything. Pommy he looks at a guitar and like songs jump out at him, and Boatsy could like play a swing, like beat, whatever thing, and like charm me down the road. Whereas me, I picked up the bass like 2-3 months after starting to play. So as weird as it sounds, like progressing in the instrument to sort of elevate it. I mean, like indie songs generally, you've got like a very, I don't know how best to say it. Like you've not got loads of fancy bass lines going in. I mean, you look at like Blossoms and Catfish and stuff, yeah. But I mean, for me, it's between technically getting better, but also rather than just following like a conventional sort of chord progression or something like that, trying to think up ways that I can make it more interesting for me to play, and then bring it to rehearsal and these go, that's impressive. And it happens every so often, and it's like a big beaming smile on my face. But I enjoy it massively, and it shuts me up for a bit as well. So there's that.
It's just a bit.
Yeah.
I would say it's a sort of a blessing and a curse, really, because I'd say it's a very competitive industry, but which is a good thing, because it means there's a lot of young bands, a lot of like local bands, but it is a really competitive industry, and I think sometimes you can get a little bit carried away with being like, oh, no, look what they're doing, and look how many streams they've got, look how many Instagram followers they've got, and I think you can get carried away with it sometimes. But like I said, it's a blessing, because it means that music's not dead, music's still alive. What was that Alex Turner quote like?
Oh yeah, that rock and roll,
yeah. I'll kill than me, but yeah, no. So it's definitely a good thing. But then obviously, as a band yourself, you can get lost in it a little bit, especially with gigs and a lot of social media numbers as well. It kills us all, doesn't it? Like to say it, like you don't even want to look at it, but you do.
It's horrible.
That's the way that the industry. Obviously, we've not been in the industry long. We're not really in the industry. Obviously, just the local scene, but a lot of it's like numbers, and it can make you lose the reason why sort of like you started it. The love of it. Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day, we're 5 mates that love playing music together and going on footy and having a beer. Do you know what I mean? So sometimes you need to remind yourself of that as well. But I'd probably say one of the most challenging things that we've sort of faced, which is obviously Ian and Ange have helped us massively from We Believe, is
legends.
Your local area. So like we've done like Preston, Manchester, like the Northwest, but like getting out the Northwest into other venues and new places. But yes, obviously play the gigs and pick up new fans, but also to like meet new other bands, you know what I mean, and start networking and things like that. And that way, and so then what the guys do like a gig for a gig, like we'll support someone say up in Scotland, and then they'll come down to Preston and support us, and it's a really nice way of working, and it does help bands obviously get out of the local area. So for me, I'd say obviously yes, the numbers thing. I wish people would just focus on obviously the actual music and the love of the music. But it is a numbers game, well, nowadays anyway. But I think for me, definitely, it's breaking out your local area. Obviously, massive shout out to you as well for playing it. For playing 23 Lost Control, so it has massively helped. So things like that, yeah, definitely. That's what I find.
Yeah, no, you are true. I think like this, it is difficult for bands to try and get out of their local area, because I think the other thing is, if you look at like a lot of, I put on a couple of gigs so far, but I think that when you look at other promoters, they're very much kind of like not necessarily the numbers of the streaming as such, but if you're a band that maybe are only just starting, they're not going to say, "Oh, come and play down here in, I'd say London, for example," because you haven't got a fan base. But then the argument today is, well, I'm never going to get a fan base if you don't come and play down there. So it's a weird, it's a funny industry. I struggle to get my head around it at times, I have to say.
I think we do, but
you got some good advice, didn't you, down at the Ferret one time from Mr. Cushion?
Yeah, we met him. Have you ever heard of a guy called Andrew Cushion?
Yeah, know him a little bit. Yeah.
We're we're big fans of him. He played in Preston, which is mental because no one plays in Preston apart from us. Yeah,
that's one of the things.
But yeah, we had a chat with him, and we sort of said that in a slightly briefer way to him, and he said he was just like, you just have to risk it, and sometimes you just have to be so prepared to just lose a little bit of money maybe, and go and play. Lose a lot of money. But I think just being like, you can't get comfortable in your local scene, and it's so nice to see familiar faces out there, but maybe just going somewhere where you aren't going to know anyone, and you might not even be anyone there for all you know. So it's a risk-taking business as well as the rest of it. But it's what you live for, and that's, I guess, it's exciting in a way, in a weird way.
Yeah, no, sure, definitely. One of the things you was all just saying there before is you put on like some of your own gigs and stuff like that. So have there been any like weird moments or like a weird gig you've been involved in? Like maybe you've been in a room where there wasn't actually a stage or something like that. Has there been any odd moments?
Oh yeah.
I was already thinking that. I hope someone else got to it.
Do you want to take it?
I don't think he's got it.
Oh. No. I'd probably best not explain it.
So basically, it was when we were first. How long ago was it now? It was like 2 years ago now.
Are you on about stop?
Yeah,
30th of September.
Yes.
There you go.
Coming back
they have to be birthday. That's the only reason.
Yeah. So basically, we got offered a gig at a festival. And it was just like a low-key festival, local festival. They were putting like music and stuff on through the nights, but it was a dog show festival. But I can't remember the name of the venue now. But it's a really good venue. Like, it's an outdoor venue.
It's well renowned.
It's well renowned. Like, it hosts like a lot of country like music festivals and things. So when you like type the name in on Google and go on Google Images, like the lighting, the stage, the amount of people there, unbelievable. We're like, yes. So we're obviously social media promotion, nicking a couple of them images, putting them on Instagram, getting people down, put a coach on to get like 70 people down from Preston, turned up. The only people that were there were the 70 people that we know. So don't get me wrong, obviously massive thanks to for like sort of like asking us to do it, like getting us out of Preston. Like I said, it's one of the difficult things to do. Like Ollie was saying, it was a risk that we took in Stockport. But yeah, massive thanks to obviously everyone that came down and bought tickets and stuff. But yeah, we literally could have done the gig in Preston with who was there. So
it was our first proper gig, though, wasn't it? And I suppose we were maybe a little bit not naive, but like I was going to say then, when you're looking at all the pictures, if you look at, for example, the Ferret, and you look at an absolutely packed out room, and you think, my God, there's tons and tons of people there. You don't realise, what is it, like 230 people capacity or something in the Ferret?
Yeah.
So a hell of a lot of people, but it's not a big space. So you're looking at this space in Stockport, and that could easily have held like 700-800 people, maybe.
Easily.
And you look at it and you think, yeah, we can fill that. And then obviously we came with the coach. I mean, fair play to everyone who came down.
Yeah.
As well.
I was going to say, I think to make it 10 times better. It was like the biggest downpour, and it was a fully outdoor stage.
Single country lane to get a coach down.
Oh, yeah, the coach.
Yeah, people all got fancy shirts on, like trying to like shivering in the back.
Just reminded that. Yeah, the coach actually couldn't get to the venue, so they had to drop the 70-odd people about a 45-minute walk away from the venue. And then obviously everyone's come in, they've been drinking on the coach, they're drinking at the venue. So on the way home, like we've got back into Preston and a couple of mates, you never guess what happened. There's like where the coach was parked to pick everyone up, there was a pond, but it was dark, there was no lighting. About 4 or 5 people fell in the pond. So everyone was like...
Yeah, you are talking about literally, it's like the middle of the field. So they're like wandering along, had a beer,
all of a sudden,
soaking wet already, flying to this pond.
Brilliant.
What an unbelievable venue, though.
It was.
Really good.
At the end of the day, it's all experience, and we're grateful for every opportunity that we get to perform and stuff. But having people like falling in ponds and walking 45 minutes each way, we're ideal.
That ain't gonna happen again.
Definitely.
Brilliant, great stuff. Well, maybe not so great for the people falling in the pond. Certainly an experience not to forget. So on every This Is The Music Meets podcast, we sort of ask our guests a series of questions that are sort of designed to hopefully be a little bit more light-hearted and just sort of help the listeners find out a little bit more about the artists that we are chatting to. So the first question is, can you tell me 3 songs that you wish you had written?
Ooh. In a word, no.
Blimey, that's a tough
Is
question.
That's like my top 3 songs, isn't it? Oh, my
What are the 3 highest grossing songs of all time?
He's thrown it back and I don't know what the answer is.
Black Christmas.
Oh my word,
That's really tough.
So the last time that we were asked this question, we were asked it from an album perspective. So I'm going to pick a song from the album. And my answer was Dark Side of the Moon. So,
Brilliant.
Unfortunately, I'm not going to give you a proper answer because any one of those songs could be the song. And technically, it is technically all one song. You know, there's no gaps in between any of them. So that's my first one.
Nice. Liking that.
I'm not going to get an answer out of Pond.
If you ask me this again in an hour, I'd probably tell you something different. But I think one that really springs to mind is The Dying Light by Sam Fender.
Oh,
right, nice, yeah.
It's just one of the most beautiful songs, and it's a fairly new one, so you don't always have to go back too far. It's just live and everything about it is just absolutely outstanding. So that's definitely one for me.
Can I get my Spotify out?
I know, I'd have to sit there for an hour. I want to get home. I sit there for an hour just trying to pick them out. Well, we've done one now.
You've got to give one. We'll go around 3 times.
Yeah. I'll give the one that came to mind straight away was one of my earliest memories of music. So I'm gonna go That's Entertainment.
Yeah. Oh, nice. Yeah, it's a tune.
Yeah, I just remember like my dad like going football training and stuff. My dad always had like a CD pack of CDs and stuff, and like just going through them and flicking through them. And one song that I always remember is that. But again, like if you ask me again in an hour, it'll be a different song. And so, what a good question that is. What a good question.
We try. So, what artists on like the underground, new music scene, have you been checking out over the last 12 months?
I don't know if they're necessarily underground, but the most recent one I've just downloaded the EP for is a band called Overpass.
Yeah. Yes.
I don't know about them, to be fair, but I listened to the EP. It was on Spotify, it suggests songs.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Actually, I checked the newest EP out, and I've just had it on repeat. It's absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's underground-ish, I guess. They're not massive.
Yeah. No, I think they are. Yeah.
Really good EP, the new one.
They might take offence to that.
I'd probably say there's quite a few for me. Again, Spotify when I'm at work. I'm just got Spotify and repeat, and obviously it's got that new function now where it brings obviously new artists and new songs that you've not listened to before. So two again that spring to mind. One of them, the Rolling People.
Yeah, they're class. Yeah.
Well. So both Manchester bands. And I know Rolling People, they did was it the Ritz in December before Christmas. So yeah, I'd probably say them two, but I'm massive on like sort of like smaller bands, so like Lilacs and like bands like that. Like obviously Lilacs are a bit bigger, but like just bands like that. I love like the local music scene. Obviously we go to see like the bigger scenes like Sam Fenders and your Catfish and stuff like that. But I'm really like sort of like a big advocate of like going down to like the sort of like upcoming artist gigs, definitely.
Yeah, sure.
For me, so they're actually both bands that we've been part of gigs with, and not in any particular order, but just because of the proximity. I'm going to say Empire Police.
Nice.
So Empire Police are, well, the shit are. Like, they're absolutely unbelievable, and obviously we're very close to them because of, you know, geographically. But their lead guitarist Tom obviously is you know, part of our process, you know, recording tunes and that. And the second one, group of lads that we played with at Off the Square in Manchester, they're called Cottons, or I don't know, I think it is just Cottons. It's not the Cottons.
Yeah, know them. Yeah,
the Cortinas, isn't it? It's not quite the right thing.
Tuesday Night Lights.
Oh yeah, that has been said before. The Tuesday Night Lights. But yeah, Cottons are absolutely I mean, first things first, unbelievable group of lads. Like, and their bassist has one of the most unbelievable hairdos I've ever seen in my life. Massive, like, long ginger mullet. It's unbelievable. It's like a horse's mane. Yeah. But sound lads, and they're also fantastic musicians, and you know they're doing really, really well. And they came and played in Preston. Obviously, the Ferret with us, and I was stood at the front screaming all the lyrics to their songs. It didn't matter to me. I could have been watching their gig, you know what I mean? So, brilliant.
Brilliant, great stuff. And if you could only play one Tuesday Night White song for the rest of your musical career, but you had to play it in a different musical style, so it could be country, it could be death metal, jazz, whatever, maybe not death metal, but, you know, a different style. What tune are you going to choose, and why?
Oh, do you want the genre? Yeah. Do you know how we're going to play it? You're all right, because you're a singer-songwriter, aren't you? So you can do it.
I've given it a crack before, haven't I? Do that like heavy rock stuff, screaming and that.
We were messing about in the old place where we used to rehearse, and me and Nathan were mucking about playing some stupid little lick, and he just starts like rapping out of nowhere, and then starts vocal frying, and we're like, oh my god, like, what's going on here? And started like rapping along as well.
I couldn't sleep for a month afterwards. But...
No. It sounded good.
I'm still recovering now, actually. That's another great question. Go on, you start us off.
Near Manchester, because it's probably my favourite song, but it's also the first full band song that we wrote, and I love country music as well. So like, Mrs. is into country music, yeah. Like,
I knew Charlotte liked it.
Yeah, no. So like, Mrs. and her family, like, they like love country music. Like, I wouldn't say like obviously indie's like heart and soul indie, definitely.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I don't mind a bit of country. So yeah, near Manchester and sort of like a country thing.
We've robbed country now, so I can't have that. I can't have bluegrass. Like I said, I was a metalhead, but you couldn't put any of our songs in a metal format. Have you got an idea? Because
I'm going to go 23, and I'm going to go like 90s hip hop.
Oh, I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting that, but I like the sound of it.
You're going to have to conceptualise that. You have to do it.
No, I watched that film, Straight Outta Compton. Watched that recently. And I've just been like, I've been hip hopping ever since. So, hip hopping. That was really not cool, was it? Hip hopping. Oh wow.
Bring it back.
Yes, yeah. I'm going to back it. I don't need to explain it. That's what I love. That's what I'm taking.
Right, genre-wise, I'm not entirely sure. My favourite
question.
No, I know. Right, so Purple is probably my favourite tune to play. It always brings a smile to my face. But I think if you could put it, there is some like cheeky little pentatonic stuff in there. So maybe like a bit of a bluesy kind of swing kind of feel to it. I often say to Boatsy, like if you sat in the corner, just like mess about, and it'll like playing it, and it's like, and then like these two will turn around. I'll either get a glare off one of them,
or they know they'll make a brew.
They'll just leave me.
Yeah.
Yeah, Purple in the style of I don't know, Stevie Ray Vaughan, then like blues rock. Go with that.
Brilliant, loving that, and maybe you know, never know, might slip into your live set at some point, eh? If what I would love to know, which member of the band would be the best contestant at Mastermind?
Oof, got to be Nathan.
It's got to be Nathan.
Got to be Nathan.
All right, I'm just going to put it out there. I have not lost the pub quiz for the past 8 weeks.
Is that because there hasn't been a quiz?
All right.
Well, me. Right. Let me just.
There's no pad in the Guinness.
Right, excellent. Well,
your glasses on that and the nose.
Right, I do go with people. I have to. Right. No, it tends to be like I'll play with like one of the best.
Team name? Chris.
Comfortably Done is my team name. I tend to play with either one of my best mates, Greek, or my girlfriend. But I mean, it's not a. I think I do pretty poorly on the chase. I feel like you know loads of random shit.
No, when pressure's on mine will go blank. So I reckon Nate, but to be honest, like I
no, Nate is probably a
Nate's just good.
Maybe
at
a wild card on Boatsy, but I feel like Boatsy's got
Mastermind's. You need like a special on Mastermind.
Yeah, I think you would get like a general knowledge, didn't you? Then you have to do like a.
Oh yeah, specialist subject.
Guitar, know everything, or violin, know everything.
No, mixology or like cocktails and that.
Yeah.
He lives. If alcohol could run through his veins, like he lives and breathes cocktail making and stuff. He's unbelievable at it. So probably that.
Yeah.
If you had like a
Nate.
Well, you on like Oasis, you on James Morrison, perhaps.
We can't say someone for a different round.
No, I'm just saying. No,
it's not a pub quiz.
I'm never going to get. It's on film as well. I'm not going to deny it.
Don't worry, I'll edit it out. I promise.
Just like zoom right into my face.
Oh dear.
So, if aliens landed and asked you to explain indie music, what Tuesday Night White song would you pick to explain it?
It's got to be one of
the Renegades. Got like a bit of slow, bit of fast.
I don't want to sound like a broken record, but I'd say near Manchester.
I agree. I would say the Atlanta 23 because it's
I'd say near Manchester because obviously it's wrote about again hometown. There's a bit of a theme, but like it's wrote about the hometown, but it also like when we started out writing it, it was based off Pound Shop Kardashians by Sam Fender. So the riff was based off that, mixed with that and a bit of Sweet Child of Mine by Guns N' Roses, which so that's sort of how it was formed. But I'd probably say that because the meaning behind the song, and obviously growing up obviously in Preston, just called near Manchester. But I'd say near Manchester, therefore.
Yeah, cool. Loving that, and looking forward to hearing that when that does eventually come out. On the streaming platforms and all that. But finally, the last question from me. What's next for Tuesday Night Whites? Any upcoming releases? Are there any plans for a tour, maybe an EP or something? What does 2025 look for you boys?
Couldn't say, so I'm going to just turn around.
To be honest, it's the most exciting year for us yet, and I'm hoping every year is the same story. But this year, it's the first time we're going to be. I know we've talked about it previously, but getting out of the Northwest a little bit, we are absolutely buzzing to start announcing all these gigs. It feels like you're just gatekeeping it a little bit, ready to let it go. I feel like once one gets announced, it's going to be like every single week. So we've got an absolutely mad year planned, which is just so exciting. The headlines are all booked and everything like that. So I think like literally a couple of months, like we're going to be here, there, and everywhere. We're going to get back into the studio, carry on releasing and stuff as well. So it's going to be sort of everything that's the best bits of the last couple of years, and then throw in loads of extra bits this year. So.
Yeah, we can name drop a couple of places.
Yeah,
Here we go. Drum roll incoming.
we're going all the way. We're going all the way up to Scotland, doing Edinburgh and Glasgow, and then we'll come in all the way down south to London, and then a few in between in like Sheffield, Derby, places like that. Obviously Manchester, Liverpool, Preston. Yeah, just all over the gaff. So yeah, no, dead excited.
Brilliant.
Get lost if we're all driving.
Me.
Sorry.
That's one thing we need to figure out, like the logistics, because we don't have a van. So we've got like we've all got cars.
That's the most exciting thing next year, buying a van.
Yeah, there you go.
You can hire your bus company out again and it'll keep you off.
Brilliant.
Look, it sounds like you're going to have an incredible 2025, and I can't wait to see where all these gigs, all these places you're going to be going to, and obviously new music coming on the way. But look, unfortunately, that is the end of the This Is The Music Meets podcast. Thank you so much for coming on. I've had a really, really great laugh with you boys. And I hope that you have as well too. But before I do let you go, can you just let the This Is The Music listeners know the social media platforms that they can find Tuesday Night Whites on?
Yeah, of course. Thank you very much as well. It's been loved it. It's been great.
Yeah, class.
But yeah, we're all over. So Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and it's TNW official _ for most of those. But if you just type in Tuesday Night Whites, it usually pops up. So yeah, pretty much any social media, Spotify, Apple Music, all that kind of jazz as well. So.
We've got the link tree, haven't we?
Yeah, we've got a link tree in our Instagram bio that will take you to everywhere you need to go.
And
so
tickets and all that as well.
Yeah.
So get on it. No, thanks for having us.
Yeah, nice one.
Brilliant. Look, great stuff. And as I say, thanks for coming on, and we'll put all those links in the episode bio as well to make it a little bit easier for everyone to find you. As I say, I'm really excited to see what 2025 brings for you boys, and good luck with everything. Can't wait to catch up with you again somewhere down the road.
Nice one. No, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
And all that leaves me to say is to thank everyone for tuning in to the latest This Is The Music Meets podcast. Please subscribe so you never miss out on any brand new episodes. And if you are loving the podcast, then please leave us a rating and written review, as it really does help the artists we interview to be discovered. If you are listening to this episode on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, then stay tuned, because at the end of the episode, you'll be able to hear 23 by today's podcast guests, the brilliant Tuesday Night Whites. I'll see you very, very soon for another This Is The Music Meets podcast. But before I go, I just want to say a huge thank you to each and every person who voted for This Is The Music at the Muso Awards as an indie influencer. I'm looking forward to the final in a couple of weeks' time on March the 6th. Your support really does mean the world. As I say, I'll see you very, very soon for another This Is The Music Meets podcast. And remember, the future is bright. The future is indie.